Today I'll be doing a comparison of the three different DVR systems I own. The first one is the Fatshark DVR. This is the built-in DVR into my Fatshark HD2 goggles. It's very similar to all the other Fatshark Slim goggle DVRs. Next is the FXT 60 frames per second DVR. This one came out a couple months ago. I've been using it kind of as a to the side of my Fatshark DVR, and then I'll be using the new Immersion RC PowerPlay, which is a monitor, power supply, and DVR all in one module. It kind of tries to combine battery, DVR, and monitor all into one piece. And for the receiver I use for these videos, I use the Immersion RC Rapid Fire. To record, I connected the two external DVRs to the video output of my HD2s. This way, the signal to all three is exactly the same. That way it gives it a more fair comparison. I'll have raw video files and a link in the description, so if you want to take a look at each recording to kind of see before it gets kind of modified by YouTube's compression. The first clip is taken in a mini golf that is under black lights. This lighting gives kind of a weird effect to the video, so it's kind of more difficult for the camera to record. This room normally gives me a little bit of trouble in the FXT. You can see the FXT is a little bit brighter than the rest, but the PowerPlay and Fatshark are definitely right there at the similar brightness and look. One thing you'll notice is the Fatshark slowly begins to jump ahead of everything else, and that's because the Fatshark DVR actually does have issues with frame skipping. So right here, if you look, you can really see the Fatshark begins to lag behind, like whenever there's a quick turn. You'll see it happens first on the Fatshark, then it happens on everything else. This actually brings up some questions of using Fatshark DVRs for video reviews, because if a frame just isn't very good quality, the DVR in the Fatsharks does just throw it out. Now, one thing to note is the PowerPlay does record in a bit different of a aspect ratio. To keep from having to modify the video all that much, I just kind of overlaid the Fatshark and FXT over it. So the PowerPlay's video is actually slightly wider than both the Fatshark and FXT. So you can kind of see here there's the black bars to the side of the FXT video, and it'll be the same for Fatshark. I wanted to try to keep these videos in as much of an unedited format as possible. Really, all I did was take the videos and drag them straight into Premiere and just kind of overlay them over top of each other after syncing them. Here we're just kind of flipping back and forth to give a full screen view. And then for the second clip, I actually did this in the local hobby shop. The reason I did this is it's more brightly lit, and also there's very complex objects, all the different products on the walls. So this kind of gives a little bit more of a difficulty for lower bitrate systems. So typically the Fatshark has a little more trouble with seeing objects as they go flying past. Both the FXT and PowerPlay, with their better H.264 codecs and higher bit rates, they should do a better job with the recording. So the Fatshark DVR actually has a bitrate of 10.7 megabits per second, and this is according to Windows, and that's at a resolution of 640 by 480, and that is actually 29.92 frames per second with a motion JPEG codec. The FXT DVR has a much higher bitrate of 16.7 megabits per second. It's actually the highest bitrate of all the clips we're showing here, and that is at an exact 60 frames per second, and that's on an H.264 codec. The PowerPlay actually was reporting a bitrate of 8 megabits per second with a resolution of also 720 by 480 at a frame rate of 59.94 frames per second. It too is using the H.264 codec. The Fatshark video does appear to be a lot more lossy, and I feel that that is mostly due to the motion JPEG codec giving it problems with trying to just being less efficient than the H.264. One thing to notice is the FXT video appears to be brighter than all the others. I'm not sure what would cause this. again, all the signals to each DVR was off the exact same set of goggles and exact same receiver. Whereas the PowerPlay and FXT actually are a lot less hot looking. So I'll be doing a more in-depth review as I get more flights out of the PowerPlay, because at the moment it's hard to tell if the PowerPlay is really better than the FXT. FXT is surely brighter, but having a higher bit rate, I'm not sure which one's truly the better one to call right now with the few flights I have on them, but both are definitely beating out the Fatshark goggles. Again, all copies of videos are available down in the description, and they'll be the raw, unedited format. So they are going to have a little bit more at the end and beginning as I was trying to figure out how to sync the video. So thanks for watching. Keep an eye out for the full review of both HD DVR systems. I will be doing a review of both systems.